more relevant in terms of his questioning. He raised the questions about double registration, in which Dr. Farijan did answer that as far as he's concerned, all those talk about double registration, at the end of the day, the final register was a very clean one that was used. Dr. Farijan also did indicate that as far as he's concerned, his declaration of result was based not on pink sheets. So the one about pink sheets wasn't too relevant, and that he was more on they use results from the polling station as well as the collation centers which were relayed to him. That's what constitutes the basis for the declaration of result. So if there are any errors on the pink sheet, that's another matter altogether. The issue of C3 in this afternoon will be a big question of what to do with C3. The petitioners had sought to indicate that there were entries, they have records of pink sheets where several entries have been made on C3, the column C3 on the pink sheet, which would seem to show that some people probably voted without going to the BVD and whatnot. Yes. Dr. Farijan consistently indicated that as far as he's concerned, C3 ought never to have been entered by his people. It was any entry there was in error, that the people didn't even go there with the forms for them to fill. So there was no purpose for them entering anything on C3. If there's anything at all, it was in error. But of course, the court will have to decide whether what to do with C3. If there's an entry on C3, should they allow it to go, or they should just consider it was one of those administrative errors? In the example that was cited, you could see clearly that even if you leave the C3 out, the vote in the ballot box was quite quality vote. It was unadulterated. He also raised the issue of unsigned pink sheets. Mr. Addison moved towards that area, so to indicate that several thousand or so people failed to, presiding officer failed to sign. But he did indicate that the figure was less, but in any case, whether they signed or not was irrelevant to the declaration, and that there were other factors for determining these matters. In any case, as I said, these are issues which the court will have to decide. The last particular issue that brought the hearing to an early close has been that of the KPMG's work. It came through by the flank. Dr. Farijan was being cross-examined on a set of pink sheets, and the objection was taken that those pink sheets have not been served on the respondents, and that some of the pink sheets were actually not known to the pink sheets, to the respondents at all, and they claim that some of them had even not been found in court at all. And this is a very serious allegation, but the respondents, Mr. Takishikata and Tonilita, insisted that it probably is the tip of the iceberg, and this at the base of their complaint, which has resulted in the KPMG audit. And of course, it only means that we have to hold our guns yet for the KPMG report to be outlined. Then we will know whether some new, fresh, pink sheets have been added or doctored into the original pink sheets, which were sent on the respondents. Of course, the petitioners have resisted it and claim that all that the respondents have is what they served them. But that's a big issue which is yet to be resolved. I believe on Thursday, the KPMG issue will be coming up. The parties will be looking at the final report, and they will have an opportunity of knowing whether, in fact, the respondents were served with anything like 11,842 pink sheets, as consistently maintained by Dr. Bawumia, or they receive less than 9,000, the range of 8,000 a year living. Of course, what we do know now is that there are about 13,000 plus in the kitchen. That's to say, it raises plenty of questions. And maybe as the days go by, we see. Except that to say that it's been a heavy weather, for clearly for Mr. Addison trying to break down Dr. Afarijan, as he's held his own against the very strong 3 days or more cross-examination